Electricast.
Why wait to see if you'll get something you like this Valentine's Day when you can go to BlueNile.com and find something you'll love? Whether you're looking to treat yourself to a little winter sparkle or show a galentine how much you appreciate them, Blue Nile offers a wide selection of high-quality designs, expert guidance, and free 30-day returns for the ultimate peace of mind. You can even design your own jewelry. Right now, save up to 50% at BlueNile.com. That's BlueNile.com.
Missing the point. Football, Wildcard playoffs just happened. I don't know if what you guys were doing. I was watching it. I enjoyed it thoroughly from start to finish. Pretty unexpected turn of events in a couple of games. I don't know if you guys caught those. I have Rayshawn Buchanan and Mike Marcangelo here with me. It was pretty crazy, honestly. The opening game, I guess we should have known it was going to get crazier with all these lopsided score lines. There was really only one close game, and that was Lions-Rams. We'll come on to talk about that, but we'll just do it chronologically. The Texans, they came out and they fucked up the Cleveland Browns. You know, kind of old money, smart money was on. Well, is it going to be the CJ Stroud show? Even if it is, that Cleveland Browns defense is pretty good. The Joe Flacco plot line is there. How good is he in the playoffs? Like, he's that dude. So none of that happened. CJ Stroud just came out and fucking styled on the Cleveland Browns with they look like little to no effort, quite frankly. The Flacco thing we knew it was going to get, I think, blown up at some point, but I don't know if we expected it to go that bad that early. And one of like two elite defenses that were actually playing in this round that really didn't show up to the playoffs, just left their asses in the regular season. So my takeaway from that game was CJ Stroud is going to be a problem for a long fucking time. I mean, the shit he was doing out there looked so effortless. You know, it might be hyperbolic, but I think that there's a fair set of Patrick Mahomes comparisons already. We'll come on to talk about him too, because I mean, he's still doing ridiculous shit in the playoffs. Some of the stats I have on him are fucking bananas. But yeah, CJ Stroud, like, I'm excited that he's here. I'm excited that he's made the Texans relevant again, like probably 7 to 10 years before we even expected to start having that conversation after how badly their franchise just plummeted into fucking Valhalla. But what did you guys think? Well, Mike, what was your biggest takeaway from that game? Were you more erring on the side of, wow, the Browns just are frauds? Or was it CJ Stroud was going to do that to fucking anybody that day?
I think Stroud was going to do that to anybody that day, only because what we've seen all year from the Cleveland Browns is that their defense has held up. I mean, so I don't want to call them a fraudulent defense, but I think that they just ran into a team that is kind of on this magical run, and we'll see how long it goes. But the Texans defense, which was not anywhere near the top 10 in the regular season, I mean, they showed up too. They picked off Flacco a couple times, but Stroud becoming, I think I saw he said the youngest and the youngest QB to win a postseason game.
Yeah,
and I mean, when you think about everyone was on Carolina to pick CJ Stroud, and this just makes them look so much fucking worse. I mean, that's going to continue to happen too, because Bryce sucks. I'm sorry. And CJ is going to be someone that's going to be a top 10 quarterback in this league, I would say, for like the next 10 years. The cool part about this for me is that he still did it without his best weapon from the regular season, Tank Dell. So imagine how much worse it could have been if he had his number one.
Ray, what'd you think? Was it the CJ Stroud show, or was it where Cleveland just they just left their asses back in the Midwest?
I think it's probably a mix of both, but I would lean more to what CJ Stroud did. I think that, when you're a young quarterback, or just even any team that's in the playoffs, you want to limit the mistakes, and that's what Houston did, right? So for him to come in there, throw 16 to 21, 272 with 3 touchdowns, no picks, that helps set the tone. And he's built a hell of a rapport with Nico Collins. D'Amico Ryans is the coach of the year, regardless of what people think. He's done a hell of a job down in Houston. So I think that, that was just a perfect storm to have that home game there. It might have looked different if they were at the Dog Pound, but they weren't. They were at home, and they protected the crib, and it got ugly real quick. And yeah, Flacco turned into Joe Flacco, and the rest was history.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think
it's sorry, go ahead, Mike.
I was just going to say, Dave, like this for me. Like we talked about this in the basketball a lot, how Larry Bird would affect the outcome of the game while only taking like 9 or 10 shots. And like when you look at CJ Stroud's stat line, he completely dominated the game with 16 completions. Like he
Yeah,
changed
16
like the
loud
whole game.
completions though, right?
Right,
Like every time
right.
every time he hit a fucking dart, it was like, because like I was sort of testing out this theory on Leah. I think that there's nothing more frustrating. Tell me if you guys agree. When you're watching your defense play, your favorite team's defense play, and it looks like they've definitely blown the play, right? Like they've succeeded in blowing up the play on the offense, and then instead of that offense losing yards or turning the ball over or at least just losing it down without gaining anything, they get a first down. Like there's nothing quite as debilitating as that, and I think that has to translate to the players on the field, like the defenses on the field. And I think what I watched was I just watched him like demoralize them, like over and over and over again, because there was one pass where he rolls out to his right, the play's broken down, and this is I think because there's so many good improvisers now in the NFL and like the way the college game looks, like it's becoming almost a prerequisite that you have to be able to throw on the run and like you have to be improvisational and all this stuff. But that's a more meta conversation for another day. He rolls out to his right and he throws it across his body. The thing that they just tell you never to do. Like the number one rule. Like even in Madden, you're getting picked off like 99% of the time. But he rolls out to his right, he throws it across his body, and before it even got to, I forget who actually caught the ball, but before it even got to the receiver, I was like, "Oh, that's good." Like it just looked good coming out of his hand, you know? And it clearly just killed everybody. It might have been borderline looked like a design play, like it was designed to break down or something. And I was like, this kid's fucking got it, man. Like, I don't know what it is, but he's fucking got it. And I also think like he has all the hallmarks of somebody that, although he hasn't faced serious adversity yet, like the stakes aren't that high yet because he's like now the new kind of like happy product to come on the market. Everybody's like, oh wow, look at this fun thing that's here. Eventually he'll be brought down by the weight of his own expectations, right? This is what happens to everybody. Like, we'll give him another year, maybe 2, and then it's going to be like, all right, when's he going to win some shit, right? That's going to be like on his mind. But I feel like I can already tell he's that guy. Like, I can already see that he's got broad shoulders in the metaphorical sense, and he's sort of able to take everything in stride. And every time something happened that he needed to respond to, he did. So, 16 completions, I agree with you, but like, fucking loud completions. Like every
Right.
time it was just a dagger in the heart of the Cleveland Browns defense. They were like, oh, there was a lot of this going on from the Cleveland Browns. And I was just like, oh, guys. And then you could just see it slipping out of their hands so early, so early in the game. And so many games were like this. That was the theme of the weekend, to be honest, was this like first quarter, you might put some points up in garbage time later, but first quarter, we watched you guys fumble the bag. You know, like we watched it happen. So, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the Texans, the only way is up for the Texans. I think CJ Stroud's probably the best draft pick since Patrick Mahomes. And I've yet to see something that convinced me otherwise. Let's look forward to their game against the Ravens, which is such a fun matchup. Like the whole narrative of CJ Stroud versus Lamar. Are the Ravens going to win? Probably. Like I would probably give them like a 90% chance to win this game. But we've seen them specifically fuck this up before, right? So, and we, Lamar in the playoffs and all these narratives, which I'm not sure I buy into this year, but we'll see. But what's true about that is every time
Mike will remind us.
No. I mean, we had on our last show, he was actually he was not damning Lamar with the you're gonna fuck this up in the playoffs. He was pretty positive about Lamar, in fact. And I'll say every game the Texans are in now, you're looking forward to. We were looking forward to the game against the Browns. Obviously, the fucking Ravens game is gonna be a banger too. And if all they have to do is play the way that they played against Cleveland, I know, yes, you're right, Ray. It's on the road now. This is a different story, especially going. I mean, for me personally, if I was a team built like the Texans, I'd rather be going to the 49ers right now. If you're taking the 2 favorites for the Super Bowl between the 49ers and the Ravens, I'd probably rather be going to the 49ers because at least you can show them something they haven't seen before. But I think that the problem is that Ravens defense is going to come out and be like, oh, CJ Stroud, we scrimmage against Lamar Jackson every single week. So let's see what you can really do. And like, it might not be pretty. But regardless, he's done what he needs to do already. Yeah, he's like at this point, he's playing with house money, right? So, Ray, what do you think? What do you think? I mean, that this is my theory on it. I think the Ravens are definitely going to stomp them, but like they continue to surprise. So, what do you think is going to happen next weekend?
So, I mean, I kinda had this with a caveat, so I feel like the Ravens are going to win, but I will say this, if they come out slow, you better watch out. Because if they come out slow, CJ Stroud to me somebody I feel like he's a player that notices it's like a shark that notices blood in the water. He's going to go
That's
after.
certainly what happened against Cleveland. I'll
Yeah,
tell you that.
exactly. So I feel like Lamar and company better come out swinging because if not, they'll be on the they'll be on the couch very shortly. So, but I got Baltimore winning.
Yeah, I also think that Baltimore is probably going to win this game. But the thing that I would say, I'll just ask you, Ray, is for a team that is already outperformed like way where they're supposed to be. Do you really think like home or road games matter to them? They're not supposed to be there anyway.
Yeah, I mean that's true. I think that makes sense, but sometimes you may have a few plays in the game where you think about it. Like I think obviously you shouldn't be thinking about it because it's playoffs. So whether you're at home on the road, like you should be looking to win the game and give it your all. But I think sometimes, I mean, who knows? Maybe they won't recognize the magnitude of the moment. Maybe they won't. But
Right.
I'm just saying there could be some moments when they do, and that could cost them the game. So,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
you want to
I,
win. Once you're there, you want to win as much as possible. So,
I
um,
think
I wouldn't be surprised.
I agree with that too, but like DK, to your point, if you say if the Ravens defense are going to say, "Oh, like, you have CJ Stroud, we scrimmage against Lamar Jackson," the same thing. Oh, like he's not Lamar, but I mean, the Texans defense is used to going against a mobile quarterback that can make throws you're not supposed to be able to make.
Right.
Yeah, but my
And
opinion on
the,
Lamar
the
Jackson season is that, and again, like there's the playoffs are a different beast, and like you immediately become found out. Like everything becomes found out immediately in the playoffs. So I'm not saying this won't happen, but my theory on Lamar is like it doesn't matter if you know what he's gonna do. It doesn't.
right.
He's graduated to that level from his play this year. Like it doesn't
What
matter if you know what he's gonna do. It doesn't matter if you think you have him. It doesn't matter. Like I just think he's graduated from that era of his career and he's leveled up. He's leveled up mentally. He's leveled up. I mean, he's always been like max level physically, and I think that his weapons have leveled up so much that like, and I think does he have Mark Andrews back? He does, right?
I'm not
I don't
sure, but
think so.
I think he does, dude. Let me look that up. Hold on. I'm like 99% sure. Because
But
obviously that's gonna play a part. Yeah.
what
He's practicing. He's practicing.
I mean, that's huge.
Oh.
Like if that happens, that is huge. What I would say to you though is, um, for home field to matter, and for the Texans to be going on the road to Baltimore, I think what nullifies that entire premise is that the Ravens were supposed to be here sooner, and the Texans aren't supposed to be here yet. So
Yeah,
I think
I
there
just
is a
think in the
mentality there.
divisional round, like we're still in wild card mode. In the divisional round, I just think that the teams are a little bit more serious. Like I just think everybody that's involved, like they had a bye week for a reason. And I just think at this point, you can't like the Texans have gotten here on their pluck and their courage. But I think it might take a second for them to yeah, but they're not here yet, I guess it's my response to what you're saying. Like, I don't think that they're where you're saying that they are, and I think that the Ravens are. And I think that I think this is the boring answer. I don't want this to be the case, but I think they're gonna go in there and it's gonna be like, oh, okay, the Ravens are a very big boy, like adult football team, and like we've seen that, right?
Yeah.
And if they're gonna get taken down by
Yeah.
someone, it's gonna need to be someone of the caliber of the 49ers.
so, but
But wouldn't it be? But
yeah, go ahead.
wouldn't it be like classic Lamar to be taken down by a team that's not
So
up to his standards?
you are
we
saying
go,
that
here
the
we
it
go.
did like it
Here we
didn't take
go.
long.
Here
Well,
we
no.
go.
While you stepped away, I did say that I think that the Ravens are going to win, and I think they're going to win by 7. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I do think that this is the type of game that the Lamar Jackson Ravens lose.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. I mean, it's a banana peel for
Yeah.
sure. They're tough to play against,
It's one of two things. Either they're gonna win by 7, like Mike said, or it's gonna be 2010 Patriots versus Jets, where we murder them in the regular season, they came into Foxborough and beat our ass by 2 touchdowns. That's what's gonna
Yep.
happen. So, either he's gonna go Mark Sanchez on us, which makes me sick to even say.
That's not that's to the listening public, that's very Patriots related. We're going Mark Sanchez on it.
Yeah, very,
'Cause
very,
that's
very
every other team in the NFL is like, what, just coming loose?
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He's either gonna go full Sanchez or they're gonna go home. But I can
Full
totally see that.
Sanchez sounds like a sex thing.
Sure does.
We're giving you we're gonna give you a full Sanchez.
It wasn't sexy what happened to us, I'll tell you that.
It wasn't sexy what happened to the Jets either. You don't have any idea how much money they gave that guy for nothing?
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, it is what it is. We'll see the game. It'll be exciting. It's a banger. I'm a little concerned that it's because it's the divisional round. I do also think the coming out slowly point, I think, is the one that will come true. I'm not one to subscribe to the narratives of like these are professionals, they're trying to win a fucking chip. I'm not one to subscribe to the theories of like, oh, well, they're the plucky underdog and they're this and they're going to read into the narrative. I don't think that happens to teams like the Ravens, but the coming out slow thing is a real thing. You almost want to play every week. That like the players have attested to this. You get a little sluggish. You're not really in rhythm as much as you'd like to be. And the Ravens were kind of rolling. Like they were handing out fucking back-to-back L's to Super Bowl champs towards the end of the season. They were really one of the only teams that looked seriously on point. So for them to have that week off, it might be detrimental to them. They might come out slow. And I think if I was the Texans, I would be game planning to a punch them in the mouth approach, a very early punch them in the mouth approach, because I think that is actually the way to beat this Ravens team if there is one. And I think they might be a little slow off the blocks, but man, they're very talented. They're really, really very talented. I have a tough time nagging on them because I have a really fun time watching their defense. Like I'm a little mad that we traded them like our best linebacker for nothing. It sounds like, but he's a lot of fun to watch. He's a lot of fun to watch the Bears. He's even more fun to watch the Ravens because he's surrounded by fucking studs. I like the Ravens. I like when they have a good defense. Maybe it's just the era I come from, but it's whatever. And Lamar Jackson is the most fun man to watch play football. So I don't mean to oversimplify it, but that's where I'm at with them. Okay, well, we did that first game and we did a preview. So you see how we packaged it in there? I thought that was very professional podcasting from everybody across the board. All right, here we are. We're doing it. The Packers came out and rollicked.
Whoa. I thought we were going in order here.
Was that not? Oh, that's right. The Dolphins played the Chiefs.
Yeah,
well,
kind of.
Well, I'd say there was a couple of surprises in that game. The conventional wisdom paid off, right? Like if you were going, the Dolphins are on the road in cold weather, et cetera, Tua versus Mahomes, et cetera, their last few weeks of form, especially the Dolphins, just really looking underwhelming for the last few weeks of the season. I thought maybe their offense could click back into gear because of the players that they have. I kind of knew that their defense was all done due to injury. I mean, I'm not blaming them. I don't think that they're a bad team. I just think that their defense got really, really beat up. I think Bosa being their central sort of defensive pivot, their fulcrum, not being in, wasn't talked about quite as much as some of the other key injuries across the league. I thought they didn't do a great job of feeding into that narrative, but it was true. I'm not saying that they should be using that as excuses for looking kind of as really turgid as they did, especially offensively, but I'm not writing off the Miami Dolphins because of this. I think they're going to be good again next year. And I think that you can see the stuff that needs fixing and you need a little bit of injury luck. Am I being too soft on them or maybe I'm not giving the Chiefs enough credit? I don't know. How do you guys feel about it?
I think you might be being just a little too soft on them.
People have been really hard on them all week, like the past few days. Really hard on them.
But the fact of the matter is, the New England Patriots beat more teams with a winning record this season than the Miami Dolphins did.
Wild.
Like that's not great. That is not a great statistic to have when you're comparing a 4-13 team.
Yeah, I think they definitely did run up the score on shitty teams, and I think that was like a narrative we did discuss as the season went on. But like, you can only play who's put in front of you. I know we've had this conversation a million times. Like, well, it's not their fault.
But they didn't beat the good teams that were in front of them.
That's fair enough. But I think those good teams were very specifically built. They were very specifically built to kind of beat up on the Dolphins. They should have beaten the Cowboys when they played the Cowboys. That's the one where I'm like, I mean, now we look at it and it's like, you should have won that fucking game. But
yeah,
other than that, I mean, I would have expected those teams to beat the Dolphins. I'm not saying that they're like they're out of this world good, but I mean, everyone's writing them off. People were waiting to do this to Tua, right? Like everybody was waiting to just literally just be like, yo, he's not that dude. He doesn't have the fucking arm talent. He's not that fucking guy. I mean, that may not be true, but I know that there was people sitting in the woods just waiting to come fucking absolutely kill Tua. So I guess Ray, now's your time.
So I'm so glad you asked, buddy. This is a theme with the people that went to his school, and we'll get into it later on in the show because we're going in order with the games. But there just seems to be a theme with Alabama quarterbacks. If everything is not perfect, it's not going to go well. And that was another example we saw on Saturday night. You had Hill back, Water was back. They had one of the best running games all season, and they folded like a cheap tent. It happens. But we should have saw this coming because like you alluded to, Mike, we've seen this all season. And whenever, just the schedule is the schedule. But at the same time, if you're not beating who's in front of you, when you have what people may think was the best offense in the league at times when they were on, and Tyreek Hill was going to break all kinds of records going into the season. So yeah, I mean they, listen, as someone who lived out there, I was ecstatic to see them fucking lose because a lot of you Miami fans are getting really beside yourselves. You haven't won a playoff game since Jay Fiedler.
Right.
And I'm like, and Fred Taylor's the reason why your beloved Dan Marino was sent home forever. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. You haven't done anything in a long time. You're the down south, you're the East Coast version of the Cowboys. Because all y'all talk about is Dolphins every year. And I know the song Miami Dolphins number 1. They're not number 1. They're not number 2. They're not number 3. They're not number 4. But they're on the couch. So congratulations, Tua. Congratulations, Mike McDaniel and company. Enjoy some snappers on 441 and enjoy your summer vacation in Cancun.
I would just say that what we've learned and what this really helps shine a light to, but it's not something that we haven't seen before, is that a Miami team that is built on speed offensively is just like the old school days of a dome team that was high powered. The one thing that can counteract all of that are the elements. And when you go to Kansas City, when it's -4 degrees and the wind chill is -20 degrees, you're not as fast. The ball's not going as fast. And unfortunately for Tua and the Dolphins, this is and has been the best defense that Patrick Mahomes has had as a member of the Kansas City Chiefs. Mm-hmm. So they were able to keep the Chiefs alive in the playoff hunt and allowed for the Rashee Rice coming out party. 8 catches for 130 and a touchdown. And if he's getting 100 yards a game and Travis Kelce's still getting 7 for 70, like that offense is just as good as it used to be. I'm not with Tyreek, but it's just as good as it was last year. And they won the fucking Super Bowl last year.
So you're saying that it wasn't the Miami defense playing very, very soft and very, very hurt. They were like saving this for their playoff games. Like they just decided that like Travis Kelce was
no. I said that the biggest counter to everything that Miami does well are the elements that they faced in Kansas City,
right?
And that this is the best defense that Patrick Mahomes.
No, I get that part, but it's like as far as their weapons go, I mean, I think there's a good chance we don't see those two players that you name check specifically have as good of games as they had moving forward in the playoffs against the very weak in Miami Dolphins defense. Like, I don't know if we can like tack that one on the wall when they spent like weeks and weeks sucking. Both those guys, like Kelce hasn't done that good for the last few of the season.
When they played in Germany in the regular season and Miami was at full strength on defense, Mahomes still did what he did. And Travis Kelce still did.
Miami almost came back in that game. Miami almost came back and won that game. It was right, but score away. It's like they were way closer. They were just way closer and more competitive when they were fully healthy. I think what I would gather from that game. Like, I just think like, yes, the elements. I agree with you wholeheartedly that the elements, like, I mean, but also it is fun to clown on teams from warm weather areas when they fuck up in the elements, because it always does look a little funny because it's like they're always making like those mistakes, like they're fumbling, they're slipping, they're doing this, they're doing that. It's like, sucks to suck, guys. Like, I'm a fan of a cold weather team myself, so I'm always just like, I don't know, dude, get better. I don't know what to tell you. Fucking, you guys got money, simulate it. Like, I don't know what to fucking say.
It's the same thing we used to say about the Saints and Drew Brees and then Peyton Manning and before he won. It's just like they just could not translate outside until they did.
In the 2000s, when Drew Brees came through Chicago, when Chicago was getting into the playoffs on a regular basis, I was never scared of the Saints coming to Chicago in playoff time ever. Like, I was like, okay, so that's good. We'll win that game. And that was a Drew Brees led Saints. Like, that's how cocky I was with those fuckers in that era. And like, also how many good quarterbacks there were, which is again a different conversation. But you're just like, I'm not scared of fucking Drew Brees. If Drew Brees was in today's NFL, he would just be lighting it up right now. But he would be throwing for 7,000 yards a game. You remember his yardage stat lines were always like absurd. Like they're always so fucking high because you throw the ball like 46 times in a game. But anyway, I digress. I miss that guy. I miss those old Chicago teams too, actually, now that I think about it. Yeah, I mean, I do. I mean, I sort of agree. I feel like I'm trying to defend them a little bit because I knew you guys would kill them. But like, honestly, they got absolutely fucking destroyed. So it is what it is. They're not really, the corpse in Miami is not my responsibility. They need to go get their act together. All right. The Packers flew down to Dallas for a little vacation from that fucking hellscape that I imagine Green Bay is. Because like, what even is Green Bay? I'm like, what kind of fucking city is that to have a football team? Fucking stupid. But anyway, I digress. They go down to Dallas and they put an absolute fucking hurting on the Dallas Cowboys. To quote the Cardinals coach after the Bears came back against them in the regular season in 2006, they really are who we thought they were. And they let them off the hook. It's crazy how the Cowboys were in that game. Like, they came and they were just like, they had Cowboys on their cereal that morning. They had Cowboys in their protein shakes. They showered with Cowboys. They brushed their teeth with Cowboys. They did every single thing that the Cowboys do to Cowboys all over a playoff game against the Packers specifically. Like, I couldn't even talk myself into it. I was like, what if I would like go down that road and I'd be like, what if the Packers, I mean, the Packers always beat the fucking Cowboys in the playoffs. And I was like, but no, like, surely not this time. Like, surely not. When the talent disparity is and the salary disparity is this fucking high across the entire roster, and they're at home, and they've looked really good this season at times, and like, there's just surely. But no, Dak Prescott came out and just laid an absolute fucking egg. Just laid an absolute egg. And like, quite frankly, he's annoying. Like, he's fucking annoying. Like, the here we go is annoying as fuck. The shit he says in press conferences is annoying as fuck. Like, I don't know if you guys knew this, but there's like a good way to step backwards when you're the quarterback. I'm like, dude, seriously, like, fucking kill yourself. I can't. So then for him to come out and lay a fucking egg like that after it was like, here's another quote by him. LV everything. Because of the number of the Super Bowl and that it's in Las Vegas. He's like, I bought my girl a bag. I don't even know if she liked that bag, but like, I got her Louis Vuitton because it's LV everything. I'm like, that's cool. That's not how you get to the Super Bowl, bro. You have to play good. You like, it's not you can't cast a spell by picking letters wherever you go and be like, I'm so there. I'm like, dude, just play good. Just play good. Yeah, I've seen you play good. Play good. Wasn't on the cards for Dak. Was not on the cards for Dak. And I've seen revisionist Rex Ryan. Oh, how are you going to blame Dak Prescott? How am I going to blame? Because he would play like shit. He was like, that defense folded. I'm like, because he set the tone. Honestly, I can't think of another reason as to why the defense folded so fucking hard. But Dak set the fucking tone. He was like, he let me know, he let you guys know, and he let the world know, and especially let the Packers know. Just so you guys know, this is the Dak you're getting today. Right away. He was like, this is the Dak you're getting today. You really should win this game. It'll almost be embarrassing if you didn't. Watch this. That pick six he threw was diabolically bad. I genuinely don't think that I would fucking throw that. I genuinely don't think I would throw that pick six. I think I'd be like, oh shit, I think I could look that one off. I really do. It was so bad. I've never seen anything like it. I was gunning for a worst ever playoff performance in the group chat. His QBR was a little bit better because he dacked. Right? He was like, oh, garbage time, sweet. And he just started like throwing darts in garbage time when the game was long gone. long gone. It would have been enjoyable if it wasn't so fucking sickening. Honestly, I would have had a good time if I wasn't so fucking disgusted by that. Like, it was a pathetic fucking performance. Honestly, they should all go home and think about what they did. Every single one of them, to a fucking man. And quite frank, and then Jerry Jones wept. He wept afterwards to the press. I'm like, I'm at the point where I went from like, I don't know, man, that defense is pretty scrappy, to like burn the stadium down, burn it down, and take that football team away from them. That's like actually where I'm at with them. It's fucking crazy, dude. That's all I got. He wept to reporters. He's like a billionaire. He's crying because his fucking football team lost. Don't cry to. Also, he looks weird when he cries because he's a million years old. He looks fucking weird when he cries. His fucking eyes were like bugging out like Gollum. I thought there was a filter on his face, like one of those weird filters from like the kids apps, the TikTokers. Oh man, what a fucking clown of an organization that is. Honestly, they're that meme with the guy just like steadily putting on more and more clown makeup until he's fully a clown. Unbelievable. Like they should all be ashamed of themselves. And I think they should blow the whole team up. I think they should blow the whole fucking team up. I think Jerry Jones should retire and give it to whoever's up next. I'm sure there's some succession plan. I think that Mike McCarthy should never be allowed to coach in the NFL ever again. I think that Dak Prescott should be the backup on maybe an arena football team. I don't know. I get him out of the NFL though, because the cadence alone is enough. Somebody stop me here, because I could fucking do this all day. What did you think, Mike? Was it a good Packers performance, or did Dallas just Dallas everywhere, all over their face, and chest?
I do think that there was an element of Dak Prescott, transforming into Dak Jones, but they weren't. I mean, there was something to the fact. I said this in the group chat, of Green Bay winning the toss, electing to receive, and scoring on the first drive. Like, they put pressure on a team that they knew could not fucking handle pressure.
Yeah, but here's the part you're missing. Them scoring on the first drive was so easy. Like,
right,
scoring on the first drive was incredibly easy for them. Like the
defense. But I know what you're saying, but like the game after one quarter was still 7-0, but it felt like they were still up.
Do you think that's why Dak fucked the game up? Because he's such a mental midget that he couldn't.
Yes.
Like, my God, they scored one touchdown. Like, everything's gonna go to shit. Like, that's
because when they're down 30, when they're down 43-7, all of a sudden, or 41-7, all of a sudden he comes roaring back, and he threw for 300 yards in the fucking second half. Because there was no pressure. The game was over. They knew that they couldn't win. I think that I do want to give a little bit of props to Jordan Love. I know he's not your favorite guy, but I do think
I can't fathom.
I do think that he shows up.
A third fucking great Packers as a QB. I can't. Like, I feel like I'm done if that happens. Like, what the fuck if that happens? So I can't believe that. I have to fight again. I have to.
No, I hear you. But Aaron Jones had his best game of the season, and I said this. I think I said it to you during the game. Like, when you look at guys like Romeo Doubs, Musgrave, and Dontavian Wicks, and Christian fucking Watson, Aaron Rodgers left that team because he said they didn't have weapons. They looked like they had okay weapons to me.
Yeah, but I will defend Aaron Rodgers for a second. He's a moron. So when he talks, stupid shit comes out of his mouth. He can't help it. Like, it's not his fault. Like, his brain doesn't work like the rest of our brains.
I asked Jimmy Kimmel.
But he fucking decimated Aaron Rodgers, by the way. That was fucking 10-8 round. Just putting that out there.
Wow. It was fucking beautiful.
Yeah, it was great.
Like, it was great to see. And my other half of my family is in Texas, so they get on me all the time about being Patriots fans. But I'm like, look, I said, you haven't done anything since Clinton was rocking with Monica Lewinsky. And that's once again, that's not an opinion. That's a stone cold fact, baby. So you haven't done anything. So I'm just like, the Packers have more wins in that stadium in the playoffs than you do. That's fucking wild. That's insane. 3-2. 3-2. We're not talking odds.
That's embarrassing.
That's pathetic. That is pathetic. That it hasn't mattered if it's Brett Favre. It hasn't mattered if it's Aaron Rodgers. Hell, they might have won with Matt Flynn or Craig Noll. You know what I'm saying? That's a throwback for people that don't know who they are. Look that up. But they might have won with those guys coming in there. That's how bad it is. But I will say, to Jordan Love's credit, man, he looked like 12 on Sunday. Them back foot drops and finding guys just throwing across the field. I was like, whoa. But once again, it was there. And Dave, cover your ears, but it's been there since that Kansas City game earlier this season. When they won that game, he's been on fire since. And I'm like, they've been playing for their playoff lives essentially the last month of the season. So they were white hot coming in there, and Aaron Jones had a game of his life. And he plays well against the Cowboys anyways, but yeah, they came in there and dominated. But yeah, Jordan Love was impressive. The whole team was impressive.
I feel like we say this like almost every week and definitely every year. That rollout and scramble, and when he threw it like fucking 100 yards in the air, and there was 10 minutes between the time that the ball came down, and was it Dobbs or Musgraves?
No, Dobbs.
Caught it.
Dobbs,
and there wasn't a single fucking Cowboy near him.
It's like, yep.
How does that happen?
I honestly thought the fucking TV was broken. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't fucking believe it. How long that shot. It was a pretty wide shot. Like, there was a lot of field in the shot. Like, it wasn't super zoomed in to homeboy catching the ball. And then there was enough field with no Cowboys in it for the longest time, to the point where my man like overran the pass, came back to it, and he didn't turn around super quick. Like, he was like, oh shit, I gotta come back and catch this ball. Then he turned, then he caught it, and he was like, oh shit, I think I can run maybe to the end zone. And he turns back around and starts fucking running. And then a Cowboy enters the frame. Then a Cowboy enters the fucking frame. Like, I swear to Christ, it was like if you were making a movie about Cowboys, but you set it in 2024. They're nowhere to be seen. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. They're nowhere. You can't find them. Like, it's just, they just didn't show up, It's wild. It was a wild series of events.
Right. My only disappointment was that there wasn't a Hail Mary. Because they would have caught it.
100% they would have.
Would have caught it. So, maybe they'll get it next week against San Fran. But I just, to me, that was my only disappointment. It wasn't a Hail Mary or a rollout to your left where you're finding a Jeff Janis on the corner, like he throwing 35 yards the other way to get a first down. But yeah, it's wild.
But three straight 12.
I'm with you, Dave. I don't know how they keep fucking doing this, but I'm with you. I'm holding out too. I can't believe that they might have found another fucking quarterback that can play well in that division. That's unreal. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's very upsetting. I'm hoping they just come get stomped on by the fucking 49ers, to be honest. That's my only hope in this life now. Rams Lions was the one game I said was gonna be a blowout, and it was the closest game of the weekend by a lot. It was a great game. It was thoroughly enjoyable. I had no idea who was going to win by the end. I blame McVay for losing that game, because by the time he punted that ball away with 3-something left on the clock, he had one timeout left. That's dumb. You're dumb. It's a close game. Like, you fucked yourself. A. B, Puka is catching everything you're throwing at him. Like, any ball that you're throwing in his direction, he's catching it. He's styling on this team. The only time a player plays like that in a playoff game and loses the game is if the coach fucks something up and doesn't let him win the game for his team. And they didn't fucking see the ball again. That was it. It was fucking game, dude. And quite frankly, there was just, because he was playing Dan Campbell too, because Dan Campbell would have been like, yeah, we're going for that shit. Like, they wouldn't have even looked in his direction. They would have known they were going for that shit if the roles were reversed. And McVay's like, well, the analytics say then maybe. And I'm like, you're a pussy. You're a fucking bitch. That's what happened. You're a bitch, and now you're at home. And like, I knew there was always something about that motherfucker I didn't like. It was like, I know he's good, and I know he's got the brain in the Shanahan school of coaching, and all the guys there, I usually like him. But there's something about how he fucking gels his hair that I'm like, no, I fucking hate him, I think. And then it proved it to me because he's got no fucking marrow in his spine. He's spineless. And he who dares wins in this league, and the game was there to be won. That's all I'm saying.
The way that I look at it, though, adds to the whole narrative is that he kicked it back to the Lions because he truly did not believe that Jared Goff could win the game.
Yep.
Like that's
Yeah,
why.
but
That's why.
but like
that's why
that's
he
so
traded him.
cunty, dude. That's serving.
I know.
Like
I know, but
that makes
that's
you a
why-
fucking cunt, bro. Like,
And-
and then that quarterback that you said goodbye, bye to, he beat you. That was it. And because you didn't say Jared Goff can't drive down the field and score on me, you didn't say that. You said he can't get 2 first downs. You're a dick. You're a fucking dick. Anyone can do that. You're a fucking asshole. Just win the fucking game, dude. Puka was literally uncoverable. He was just don't be a dick. He was uncoverable. Like I was like, damn, I was wrong. Like I did not know this. The Rams look like the better team. They look like the better team towards the end of that game. Everything was on the Rams doing it. And then McVay was like, nah, Ray, am I crazy? Were you not
no.
like, fucking pulling out your hair watching him punt that ball?
Yeah, I mean, I thought, when they went for the field goal, they were down 24-20, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, why? I'm like, just go for it. Like
That too. It didn't
like-
make a fucking difference.
And what? And I almost I feel sick for even saying like this, but it's just true. Sunday night was not the time to force feed it to Cooper Kupp at that time in the game. And I know that's wild to say because Cooper Kupp is phenomenal when he's on. It wasn't his night. Puka Nacua was getting whatever he
Whatever he wanted. The world could see it.
Yeah. You got to find, like you said, you got to find him in that moment. It gave me shades of T.O. in the Super Bowl. I mean, obviously Puka wasn't hurt, but I remember T.O. just getting whatever he wanted, and we didn't have an answer. It happens. Feed him more. And I just don't get why, let's say they went away from him. I don't know. I thought Kyron Williams should have got involved a little bit more too, because I felt like he came on really strong.
He did get involved, though, I feel like. I think he was making
No, I'm saying, but even more though, I felt like, running the ball in the playoffs controls the game, and you can't just maybe run it once or twice and then be like, all right, we'll throw it the next 7 downs and then run it again. It's like I feel like there needed to be more of a balance, especially with how what do you call it? Especially how strong he was in the second half of the year, in my opinion, being Kyron Williams. So yeah, I just feel like they went away from him and that mattered. But like once again, they got 2 5th-rounders that they can build around going forward because them 2 are very special. And it was supposed to be a year of a rebuild, but they have some nice building blocks going forward.
Yeah, I don't blame him. I don't blame him for moving away from Kyron Williams only because it's tough to stick with the running game down 14-3 after the first. So like you have to do, and then when Nacua is just like to what you both just said, like there was nothing he couldn't do on the field. Like he was what was it 9 for 180? Is that the line? So it was fucking dumb. And everyone knew that Stafford was looking his way, and they still couldn't stop it. And I think at the end of the day, just my opinion, that it was McVay's arrogance that cost him this game. And I love the fact that on second fucking down to win the game, like Campbell's just like, you know what, Goff, just go out and throw it, and he got the first down. It was like, what was it, 2nd and 7, and he got 8, and that was the game.
Yep.
And the Lions, this is a team again in our lifetime when the pressure's on them, they folded, and they almost folded this time. So we're seeing that there is that fucking growth. The defense of the Lions is not good. It's not good at all.
No, I mean, I was pretty sure they were going to win this game, but I was also pretty sure we weren't going to see them get any further. But now that I know they're playing the Bucs, maybe we might see an even deeper run from this fucking Lions team. How strong is the NFC North, huh? I mean, geez, there's still fucking 2 motherfucking teams kicking around this playoffs. The fucking West, not so much. I mean, I'm just saying, or the East. I mean,
gone.
fucking the fucking both their front runners out. Fuck. I mean, not what I expected, but I don't see the fucking Lions doing much. I mean, damn though, they're playing the Bucs. What do you think?
They got another home game, dude. I'm telling you, the Bucs aren't the team that's going to come into Ford Field and beat Detroit. It's just, I don't think
it would be cool. It's not going to happen, but it would be cool to see a Packers Lions NFC Championship game. That would be a lot of fun.
Wait a minute. Wouldn't that really piss you off?
Yeah, but no, it would be fun. No, it would be fun. That would be fun for me. I'd be like, look how hard my division is. Look at this. We're fucking swimming with sharks. We're swimming with sharks in there. Okay, moving on. Steelers, Bills. Yeah, it was too bad. I sort of felt like I do think that the refs had a bad game in that game, but then after reading like all the complaints from the wider Steeler fan community on the internet, I was like, stop bitching. Like, stop bitching. You didn't do enough to win that fucking game. Seriously. You didn't. You didn't. And like I was watching the game being like, damn, like the fucking refs are having a rough game. Like Josh Allen like fake slid, which is a little cheap. I have to say, like the fake slide's a little
What a
cheap.
run, though. What a run.
It was a good run, but he fake slid, and I just think I think they weren't calling the game, the hits on Rudolph quite as tightly as they were calling the hits on Josh Allen. I get it. I do get it, but it was a little tough. Also, like the game was done on a 4th down play with clear pass interference right before that, and that's tough too. However, you didn't do enough to win the game. I thought that there was a glimmer of what the Steelers would have had to look like to win that game in the second half if they had to come out like that. I think that, and Rudolph really had to been able to get it going. That might have been something. But, real bad mental errors to start the game. Pickens, bitch, like shade in the fucking media about his usage, and then he coughs up the fucking rock right away to start off the fucking game. Like, that's not a good look, dude. Freiermuth, your tight end, what a safe pair of hands. Coughs it up. They get lucky with that no call. Like, honestly, that was a turnover. Like, that was a fucking turnover. So I don't, I think they were trying to just keep it competitive at that point, but that was a clear turnover to me. And I just think I put that also in the refs just didn't have their best day column. I'm not saying that there was bias. They just had a bad day, which does seem to lean one team when it happens, right? I mean, it's always going to favor one team, but I don't know. I mean, I thought Tomlin caught a lot of flack after. I heard some sound bites of being above 500 isn't winning. And it's like, well, he's a championship winning coach. I mean, it's like, he's always above 500. I would keep him personally. I have a lot of respect for him.
They say he was coming back for next year, so.
Oh, great. Did that just happen today? Because he walked out of the fucking press conference last night.
That was awesome. That was great.
I'd walk up rolled his eyes.
Let's talk about the fucking game.
Yeah.
Not my contract. Like, don't be dumb.
Yeah. So that was cool. I don't know. I think they could
walk though.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they couldn't get any pressure in like at all on the QB, and we sort of knew that coming in. And like Minka fucking blew a tackle for a really easy touchdown, which is crazy. And the guy did good, but he stayed up. Like I think Minka thought he had him down, and then that was pretty much them calling game. So I guess the real question is like the Steelers are going home now, so it is what it is on that front. But like looking at the Bills, like they have won 6 games in a row. They have put together essentially what we've been asking them to put together going into a postseason. We were really, really out on them because they kept fucking up, and it was like totally fair to be out on them. But I mean, has anybody's mind been changed? They're about to play the Chiefs, and not the Chiefs of yesteryear. Yes, they have the best defense that Mahomes has had in a while, but I don't know, man. I mean, this is a tough one to call. That I don't know which Bills team and which Chiefs team is going to show up.
I don't know, Jim. No,
I don't. I fucking don't. I mean if the Chiefs of last week show up and the Bills of last week show up, I think that the Chiefs win just because of the Patrick Mahomes factor. But they haven't looked like that as much as the Bills have over the last 6 weeks. So I mean, I think I'd rather just preview this game because it's interesting. What do you guys think is going to happen in the divisional round?
So I know this. It's my team, so I have to use this reference. But this feels like 2006 when the Patriots faced the Colts and Manning finally beat Brady. If Josh doesn't get it done now, he'll never beat them. They're finally better than the Chiefs right now. I feel like they have the better roster right now, and I think that it's time. They're at home. It's the third time's the charm. Once again, they played in one of the greatest, divisional round games we've ever seen. Mike and I did a show right after that when it came out a couple of years ago. One of my favorite shows that we did here. I was really proud of that. So yeah, I think that they come out swinging. It's going to be a shootout, obviously. The team is going to stop hitting one another, but it's time for Stephon Diggs to step the fuck up, though. He's been really silent, and the holidays is over. You don't need a silent night. You need to wake the fuck up.
But to that point, though, I think Diggs has learned, and I think what he's trying to do is if he's the only option, they don't win anything. So now, like, you actually have to show respect to Kincaid and to Khalil Shakir, right? And if Stephon Diggs is having not a like an all-star, fucking first half, I think I think he'll show up in the second. But the thing so this game, I would just say everything that the Bills do well offensively fits into what Kansas City does well defensively. They do not over pursue. You will not see a 76-yard rush by or 76 yards rushing by Josh Allen in this game. It won't happen because they're not going to collapse the pocket like that. They're going to keep him back there, and they're good in coverage. So I think that there's going to be that I think that the Bills are going to over pursue Mahomes, and that they're going to leave guys like Watson and Rice open too often. They're probably going to triple fucking Kelsey, but I think that if there was ever a time for the Bills to win, it should be this week. But I think they also believe that themselves, and so that they're going to walk into this game thinking like, oh, it's Mahomes' first game on the road, never in the playoffs, never done that before. But schematically, I don't see how you look at this game and say, well, like the Bills' offense is just so much better than the Chiefs' defense, because it really isn't.
Yeah, and also the Bills' defense is super exploitable right now. They're crazy hurt at the middle linebacker, at the linebacker position in general. And Travis Kelce is still the best tight end in the league. So I think Andy Reid's going to know that. And I think he's just going to scheme for like a lot of slants, like right in the middle. Because like once the Steelers figured that out, like then that's when the game became competitive again. So if Mason Rudolph can do that to you, I promise you that fucking Patrick Mahomes can do that shit to you. It's coming. So regardless of like him having essentially a set of fucking useless idiots as a receiver for the majority of the season, okay, I'm excited for that game. That's actually a powerhouse game now that both teams are like looking genuinely good. Anyone can win it. I don't have a locked in favor for Sunday, but let's talk about the Eagles. Yeah, I mean, I probably would take the Chiefs too, but I feel like Josh Allen had a really good game, and if he styles out, like you never know. The Eagles lost to the fucking Buccaneers. Can you believe?
Not lost, dude. Not fucking lost. They got fucking smoked.
Yeah, they got their asses beat. I mean, honestly, they look so bad the last few weeks. It wasn't even really that surprising. Like I said, the Dallas game was the most least surprising game of the weekend, but like the Chiefs game or the Eagles game was just unsurprising, dude. Like I was like, they just have looked like this. Sirianni's in over his head. You can't be bringing fucking Matt Patricia in to coach on your staff ever. We should know that already. Come on, guys, we know that already. And yeah, it's too bad. Jason Kelsey's a fun personality, great center, and he's retired now. And that's a tough way to go out, having some moron fucking crash a well-built ship into a wall. And yeah, it's too bad because I know he's playing hurt, but there was a little bit of a like, let's make sure Jalen Hurts is the one that beats us. And he was not able to accomplish that. So that's not a good sign either. It's still a pretty sexy place to go coach, though. I wouldn't be surprised if Bill Belichick like holds Atlanta off for a couple of rounds and sees if anyone comes calling or if there's any firings. But they have a lot of good players. Ray, where do the Eagles go from here? I mean, do you take what's there and try to do something as currently constituted, or are we in rebuild territory with how bad they looked?
Well, I mean, they continuously take chances when it comes to making trades and doing deals. So I'm sure they're gonna revamp their roster. I know Swift is a free agent. I don't know if they do something with one of their receivers.
He looked like shit, by the way, Swift. Like he really looked bad. So if you're going off, what have you done for me lately? I don't know if you want to.
Oh yeah, true. No, I'm saying so. Yeah, they may feel the way you feel and letting him go. But the thing is, I mean, once again, the proof was in the pudding the last 6 or 7 weeks of the season. They just didn't produce, and once again, between not being able to produce, excuse me, and also not being healthy, it was a perfect storm for what it was. I thought it was great cinema to see the fans throw popcorn at Sirianni. I know folks were getting emotional online about that, but I thought that was fucking great. You're done. You're fucking done. I just thought that was, I just wanted him to yell at Yo Adrian after that. It would have been great, but he didn't. But it was, but it was cool to see. But yeah, I don't know where they go. They have a lot of questions to answer. Hurts has to come back to what he was last year in order for them, to be that formidable opponent in the NFC and in the NFL overall. But who knows? Maybe they go after the guy that just left here in Foxborough, and they say, hey, we'll just
if they do so. if you are relying on Julio or the skeleton of fucking Julio Jones right now in the playoff game, you know that your odds is in a bad way. And that's what was, I mean, with no AJ
Right.
Brown, but I don't
I
think
think we know someone else who went through a similar iteration of
I,
Julio Jones not too long ago.
yeah, I don't think it would have mattered if AJ Brown played, honestly, just based on what we've seen the last 6 weeks. The offense was bad, but that fucking defense, that was a top 5 defense last year. That in 1 year, just by adding one asshole with a pencil on his ear while holding a tablet that he can't use the pencil for, could teach that entire defense to forget how to fucking tackle. They just don't do it. They didn't do it. A guy that he traded or that he ran out of fucking Detroit, Darius Slay, all of a sudden, 2 years ago was a Pro Bowler. Last year was a Pro Bowler. This year he looked fucking terrible again. Like that defense let them down. Hurts, and the thing about Hurts this year is we know when they were 10-1. I think I said it on the show with you, DK, when we were comparing like Purdy and Hurts. When Hurts was behind, his passer rating and quarterback rating went up. That stopped happening in week 12. And I truly don't know why. I don't know if it was the Super Bowl hangover and maybe they ran out of fucking gas, but I I don't I don't think you can fire Sirianni. I don't think you can.
What?
He
You have?
he literally he literally won the Super Bowl, or not won. He got to the Super Bowl last year. I mean, and he developed Jalen Hurts to this point when Peterson was still the
Did
coach.
he though? Because those coordinators left, and all of a sudden everything looked real shitty down there in Philadelphia. It looks like the brains of the operation maybe wasn't Nick Sirianni. I feel like that's what we learned this season.
Yep, and
I
I'm
feel
with
like
you.
that's what we learned, man. I don't know. It seems like those guys were the Hurts whisperers, and I think
redesign.
I would take Bill Belichick. I think they are
Well,
probably
yeah.
fucking handoff for Bill Belichick or Jim Harbaugh or fucking Ben Johnson. Honestly, any of those three guys, Bieniemy, I would take him over Sirianni right now. But anybody, honestly, there's
I
a
mean, I would
list of
just
10 names. There's a list of
I would
10
just
names
say
that are available that I would take over Sirianni right this second.
I would just say that if you're looking to rebuild the confidence of a quarterback, Bill Belichick might not be the guy to bring in.
Okay, maybe not Bill then, but there's an extensive list. And I think the franchise that moved on from Doug Peterson like 3 years after he won them a Super Bowl is the franchise that will fucking move on from this dildo who just can't do a press conference and can't fucking coach a team. Like, what's he good for? He's good. They're gonna move on from him. I fucking promise you. I promise you. He's not long for this world. He's walking in on actually probably today. He already probably knows he's fired. Today's Tuesday. He already knows he's fucking fired. The public doesn't know yet. Schefter's been texting every hour. Did you fire him yet? Did you fire him yet? He's fucked. He's fucked. He's walking.
You're done.
He's
You're done.
All right. I'm gonna go through real quick lightning round for these last 2 minutes we have here. Texans Ravens. Ray, who you got?
Baltimore.
Mike?
Texans.
Wow. I mean, if there's no stakes, why not? Packers 49ers. Ray, who you got?
San Francisco.
Yeah. I mean, come on. Mike?
Green Bay.
Yeah.
Let's go.
This is a theme.
Go.
Buccaneers Lions. Ray?
I went back and forth on this. Tampa.
Wow. Mike?
Lions.
Okay. Chiefs Bills. Mike, we know you're Chiefs after your diatribe about how the Bills suck, essentially. And Ray, who you got? Chiefs Bills.
Well, going with Buffalo.
Wow. Okay. I'm gonna go Ravens, Niners, Lions, Chiefs. I'm taking all the favorites. So what a coward.
Smart.
What a sibling coward. Well, gentlemen, I had a really good time watching Wildcard Weekend. I had a really good time talking about Wildcard Weekend with you. I think there's a lot of fun plot lines that have developed into this divisional round, and I'm excited to break down those games and preview the conference championships with you next week. But if not, this has been Missing the Point.
Miles, are you ready to record our promo for Season 2 of the Wanna Bet podcast?
David, have you ever seen a grown man naked?
Miles, we're not here to quote lines from Airplane. We're here to tell people that Season 2 starts August 18th.
But I like Airplane.
I know you do, but Wanna Bet is a sports betting podcast. Each week we bet $1,000 on the NFL teams and games that we love.
Well, that sounds like fun.
It is fun. And last year you picked over 60% of your games correctly.
How'd you do?
We're not talking about that. We are telling people that they can find us every Friday. So no more movie quotes.
Roger.
Electricast.
Hey, it's Tim from 50 Years of Music with 50-Year-Old White Guys, the comedy podcast you had no idea you needed. Join Ben, Jeff, and me as we continue our musical road trip back through the years and around the globe. See, just when you thought all white guys were like Joe Rogan, you come across 3 educators trying to remember when we were cool.
50 Years of Music with 50-Year-Old White Guys.
Electricast. Electricast.